Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears for another episode of the Left of Bang Show, where we talk about the sneakier side of security. I see that everyone's streaming in here. We got about 50 people in here. Everybody's streaming in right now. Go ahead and do me a favor and type in 9 in the chat window. Whatever chat window you're using, type in 9 if you can hear me and you can see me, so I can confirm we got good audio visual. I got a good episode for everybody this week. It should be an entertaining time. I've been seeing these happen a lot where people are doing movie reviews, game reviews, whatever it is. But we're going to dip our toe into that and review some situational awareness and see what Hollywood gets wrong and actually see what Hollywood gets right. All right. There's a lot of people out there listening right now. And I even talk about this all the time about all the bad stuff that Hollywood does in TV shows when it comes to situational awareness, understanding danger and looking out for stuff. This is one of those things. So they do a lot of goofy things and we have a lot of bad stuff from them, but there's some things they do get right. And I always want to know who wrote that scene or who wrote that movie, okay? All right, looks like we got 9s all over the place. We got YouTube and Facebook checking in so far and LinkedIn. Hey, nice to see everybody. So without further ado, I'm going to get right into this week's episode of the Left of Bang Show. Like I said, we're going to be doing movie reviews. I try to come on here and spit education on breaking down those behavioral domains and being left of bang and looking for threats. And sometimes it can get a little heavy. Obviously, we're talking about active shooters and whatnot. But let's see what we can do if we take Hollywood, which is normally an entertainment kind of venue, and see if we can learn some lessons from it. Learn some things to do and learn some things not to do, all right? The Left of Bang Show is sponsored by the Safe Instructor course. The Safe Instructor course basically gives you the information and skills to take what we're talking about here in the show and provide to our communities, houses of worship, organizations to increase everyone's awareness, okay? There's a research paper that came out a few years back about the stuff I'm talking about. And then all these big brain scientists came out and said, you know what? If you get this training, you come out the other end 200% more aware of your surroundings. That's a big number, 200%. That's a lot of awareness, okay? What if I could only make you 5% more aware than you were yesterday? Screw that. What if I could make you 2% more aware, 1% more aware than you were yesterday? Guess what? That's a good day in my book. If you turn into a ninja and knock it out, 200% awareness, hey, good for you. But for most of the population, if I can get you 1%, 2% more aware than you were yesterday, that's a good day in my book. All right. So let's get into these movies. I had a lot of suggestions from people, but let's get right into the first one that always gets mentioned. This is always the hype one. This is the first Bourne Identity. All right. We're going to open that thing up and we're going to show this real quick. All right.
I'm not making this up.
So just to give you a little context too, this is where Jason Bourne and the woman pull into a cafe. They're having a cafe. He's got amnesia and he's still trying to figure everything out. And they sit down to have this conversation.
These are real.
Okay.
Who has a safety deposit box full of money and 6 passports and a gun? Who has a bank account number in their hip? I come in here, and the first thing I'm doing is I'm catching the sight lines and looking for an exit.
I see the exit sign too. I'm not worried.
All right, I wanted to pause it real quick right there because she makes an interesting comment. He goes, hey, I'm walking in here. I'm looking at sight lines. I'm looking at exits, which are all things you should be doing. So that's good. But what does she say? She goes, oh, I can see the exit. I'm looking at the exit window right there. I'm not freaking out, okay? That's two different mindset. Understanding, again, this is Hollywood, but if this is an aware person and the woman is an unaware person, where Jason Bourne walks in, he's looking at sight lines, he's looking at entrances and exits and what he's going to do, okay? It's not enough just to figure out where the exit is. What are you going to do if something pops off? I'm going to go at that exit, this exit. Where she might just stop and go, oh, there's the exit sign. That's good enough for her brain. She's like, oh, as long as there's an exit, we're 100% A-okay. When in reality, that's not how it really works.
I mean, you were shot. People do all kinds of weird and amazing stuff when they're scared.
I can tell you the license plate numbers of all 6 cars outside. I can tell you that our waitress is left-handed and the guy sitting up at the counter weighs 215 pounds and knows how to handle himself. I know the best place to look for a gun is the cab of the gray truck outside. And at this altitude, I can run flat out for a half mile before my hands start shaking.
All right. Why would he know that? That's what he says. Why do I know that? Why do I know that? Let's break a couple things down here, okay? So nothing he said was, out of the box when it comes to good situational awareness. Everyone had components of understanding your environment. So the first one, I memorized all license plates coming in here. Okay, that's very energetic of him, but why would we want to know what license plates are? Okay, so if I live in a certain neighborhood, one thing I'll do, I'd call it license plate profiling, where you walk around your neighborhood and kind of take note. I'm not sitting there with, a thing writing everything down, but I'll take note of make and model and car, tinted windows, any type of amplifying remarks that I would use to identify the vehicles. And every time I'd walk my dog, I'd confirm or deny if those vehicles were still there or not. And I'd watch every time. Then all of a sudden, we start establishing baselines on who lives in my property, which vehicles come and go. So not necessarily having a license plate of everything, but knowing which vehicles belong and don't belong in my neighborhood is definitely a good thing. All right. Now, him being able to walk by and memorize those, here's my thing. All right. Your brain has only a certain amount of attention given to it at any given point. All right. So unless this guy's Rain Man and he's like a super high functioning autistic person, what would happen if you start downloading, memorizing all the license plates you walk around in? Yeah, your head you'd be in the back corner trying to lick your own elbow after about an hour. Brain can't download that information unless there's extra amplifying remarks. All right, and then he talked about the individual in the front. He goes, "That guy is 215 pounds, and I know he can handle himself." Okay, well, I would look at a person and based on my size and their size and go, all right, that person's bigger than me. They have more weight than me. They have 4 more inches of reach. This person could probably take me. So this person's going to be on my Richter scale. Not that I could look at a person and be like, oh, that person looks like he knows how to move or something, And honestly, that guy at the bar did not look like he knew how to move. A better thing is to look for more specific indicators, all right? Like fight indicators or training indicators, like UFC fighters with the cauliflower ears. If you got I do it, it's a degree separation thing. So if it's just a little cauliflower, yeah, that guy could probably do some damage, or woman, they could probably do some damage. If you ever walk around and someone's walking out of the gym like that, and their ears are so heavy from cauliflower that they're jumping up and down, that's someone who's been fighting for 2/3 of their life. Okay. So if I saw that indicator on a tall, skinny, fat, short person, I don't care. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be super polite to that person right there. So just a couple indicators there. And the last bit where he talks about, and at this altitude, I can run flat out for half a mile. It's like, okay, I can run 3,028 minutes and, I can throw up after running that. It's kind of no bearing on the situational awareness, kind of more of the movie moment, but wanted to break that down and talk about a couple points there. And everybody else can go ahead and make commentary about that too. So that was a fun one. That's what got started. And everyone likes to say, that's the big situational awareness one. But again, if you don't have this, high functioning level of autism where you can remember all that information, that's not really going to work out that great for you. Your brain, you have to pay attention to things that matter. So if that individual in the diner, when I walked in the door, all of a sudden they turn around and they lock eye contact with me, and that eye contact lingers, they don't go back to doing what they're doing. They're kind of lingering on me. Now I've established someone's attention. Okay, that person's giving me attention. So now, all right, what's up, man? What's your problem? Do I owe you money? What's the thing here? So now we focused our observation instead of everyone in this diner who could kick my ass, who's trying to pay attention to me and show me what's what. All right. So that's a good one. Go ahead and drop comments in here if you have questions or anything. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next clip. So this is from another Bourne movie. All right. This is the next one, Bourne Identity 2, I think. But we'll watch this. The setup for this one is it's a train station where Mr. Bourne here is trying to save a reporter who's kind of run away from bad guys. They're trying to go to. So that's the setting, and we're kind of watch this play out.
Tie your shoe right now. Tie your shoe. Wait. I'm gonna walk by you. I want you to move along the far wall to your left. In 4, 3, 2, 1, stand up. That's it.
Where the hell is he?
All right, I'm going to pause it right there and rant a little bit. Why he's telling him to take a drop down and take a step, a drop down. In a crowd like that, again, I'm just putting myself in this movie. In a crowd like that, if I'm looking for people, there's only a couple things you can really look for, unless you get a visual reference on their face and go, there's the person right there, and you run after him. That's a lot of people in that crowd. How do we figure out who's who? Kind of drab clothing, everyone's moving in different directions. So we have to establish baselines, right? And scanning a crowd, there's not much you can do except speed of movement. And what about the outline? The outline of someone's shoulders, their height, their outline. What does it look like from the shoulders up? That's a good way to visually reference someone moving in a crowd, all right? But again, there's baselines everywhere. So with outline, why is he telling him to tie his shoe? Because he's dipping him. One, he's getting low and now they can't see him. But also you're taking that outline off the horizon while he does something else, all right? So remember that. Outline and speed of movement.
You cannot afford to lose this guy, people.
All right, that line you're on is good. Stay on that line. Stay on that line.
Oh, the bin man. I think he's one of them.
Garbage man? Negative.
Oh, Jesus, he's reaching for something. Oh, God, he's got a gun. He's got a gun.
Stay on the line
He's
you're
got a
on.
gun.
Do not deviate.
All right, my man screwed up. He did not stay calm. Bourne was trying to tell him to stay calm. And what happened here, most people, don't really talk about this specific scene right here, but it's interesting. Again, going back to the mindset of a situationally aware person and someone who is not. Again, this is Hollywood. We get that. But Jason Bourne has his head up. He's looking for targets. He's looking for motion. Whereas the other person he's just directing, he got caught in a denial trap. He's all amped up. There's cortisol and dopamine, all this stuff dumping through your body in a survival situation. And he keys on a guy who has, a mean face, and he looked like he's reaching for something, all right? And then he went into a high-level fear response, so high that he couldn't even listen to Jason Bourne anymore. And he's like, I'm running. I'm just going to run. I'm running now, okay? That's someone who might have seen a perceived threat and reacted too far, all right? We'll see how that works out for him.
Okay,
Remember what I said about speed of movement and baselines.
He's still
now,
talking with somebody.
what did they all just
Jimmy, give
key
me the
on?
conversation.
Lock the box. Lock the box. Moving. Grab team C.
Hurry, Ross. We gotta move. Okay, move through this crowd. Move through this crowd. Get under cover right now. Move through this crowd. Get in the store. There's someone on your tail. Get in the store.
So didn't really work out that great for that guy because they end up, getting him in the end and then ended up catching up to him there because couldn't follow his directions because he had that perceived threat. He had that survival mechanism dump, and all of a sudden you start making mistakes. So that's a cool little scene that I wanted to show, a difference between an aware person and a conditioned person as opposed to that, And when all those guys started moving right there at the end, when he started running, they sent the teams after him. Just imagine if you were someone who had like a bird's eye view of this whole, looks like a train. Yeah, it's a train station, I believe. If you had the bird's eye view of this entire train station, could we see those ripple effects? You're going to have baseline movement. You're going to have people that are late, business people trying to get to their train. They're looking at their watch. You're going to have people that are lost, that are not even from there, and they're going to kind of be moseying around, looking up, looking at signs and whatnot. So if you have a little bit of time, establish that baseline, establish speeds of movement in a big crowded area like this. And all of a sudden, someone running, starts to really stick out. And all of a sudden, 8 people running at the same time, you start seeing ripple effects, and, Hollywood moment here again, hypothetically, if I just had like a bird's eye view, then all of a sudden you saw 8 different people in different parts of this huge crowd, all of a sudden move instantly and all of a sudden move to one direction. And it's like, whoa, what just shifted here? That was strange, and again, they're running around the mall chasing them. In my head, I would just put all those dudes at all the exits, you put all the exits. There was an old law enforcement thing. This is an old cop thing, where you'd have a bank robbery. Right? So the bank gets robbed. The robbers run out of the place. What does everyone do? They call 911. And what does the dispatch say to the cops? The cops say, hey, the bank on 123 Main Street just got robbed. So where do the cops go? Everyone's cooking to the bank. All right? Right? No one sees anything wrong with that, right? Well, if you stop to think about that, where are the bank robbers? If I'm the bank person and I'm calling you, obviously they're probably gone. And I'm calling, hey, we just got robbed. They're moving. They're 4, 5, 6 blocks away when the call comes in. So cops learned, instead of all rushing to the bank, you do some people, you can do, cordon it off. Go, hey, I want you 3 blocks up, 4 blocks up, and 5 blocks deep, So another concept there to think about, all right? Deborah, license plate recon attached to certain addresses is super useful. Yeah. street addresses. Also, too, Deborah, that's a good comment. Not only license plate, like I mentioned before, I talked, out of state, in state, what's going on here. Also, the license plate, the little plastic things, the little plastic guards on that's something too. They can give you some information, local, not local. All right, let's get into the next one. This is an old favorite of mine, man. No one talks about this much. This is an old spy movie or semi-spy movie called Ronin, all right? And just to give you a little background, what's happening here is there's a big clandestine meet between two people, and we're just going to kind of watch how that plays out. Bobby De Niro, he's the one who's going to go to this meet. So he's walking up to the location. There's that high ground again. Bobby De Niro up on the stairs with a high ground, and he's getting a vantage point before he ever walks in the door. He's 100 feet away above town, so that's a pattern we keep seeing. So that was kind of cool. We see Bobby De Niro posted up top, watching the action before he ever ends in. And you see how he kind of moved in a phase line, all right? This is how I see it in my head. Let's post up on some high ground, far away, no one can see me, and I'm going to get a baseline for a few minutes, all right? Once I'm satisfied and I'm okay, I'm like, all right, everything looks normal. Everything doesn't look out of place. I'm satisfied. Now he bumps down a little bit. He walks down 1-2 flight of stairs. He's a little bit closer, gives you more vantage point, more angles. So this is Bobby checking out the front door. He looks like he's looking at the menu, but he's not looking at the menu. We figure, okay, Bobby's about to go in the door. Nope, not yet. All right, like I said, Bobby hasn't even walked in the door yet. He hasn't even walked. How fast does it take you to walk in a door? If you're walking towards your door, I got to walk in there. It's instant. You're 1 second you're outside the door, then the next second you're inside the door. How long does it take him to just? Well, yeah, he hasn't even walked in yet. It's like 3 or 4 or 5 minutes at that point of him doing recon. Again, this is Hollywood, and if we're to believe the portrayal, this is an intelligence operation. Everybody in that whole restaurant's involved. So it's much more high stakes here. Obviously, you're not going to walk around like Bobby D, like going to the back of an Albertsons and like hiding a pistol, and you're not going to do this stuff. But I'm just showing you the extreme level when it comes to an operation like this, where it's getting sketchy, things are weird. And another thing too, there's law enforcement there. They'll do stuff like this, intel people, law enforcement. I think I remember there was a big drug deal. I can't remember exactly who it was, but it was some huge offender, and they basically did a fake wedding. They built up this whole big fake wedding, and they made him believe that he was like related to this random person. They're like, yeah, it's all expenses paid. Come on down. And this criminal, this violent criminal, shows up. He's in a tuxedo, and then like right at a certain point, the band plays a note, and the whole wedding stands up. Everyone there's a cop. The entire wedding is a cop. It's a big sting operation, but just made me think of this one, and I always got a kick out of it. All right. The Hastings Dojo. Okay. Yeah. Knowing waitresses and names and breaking down barriers would help also get you good coffee. Yeah, absolutely. Knowing people on the ground. This is one thing. If you're walking into new places, you don't know anybody, but absolutely knowing people on the ground, asking questions, asking who's who from the zoo can definitely get you good information on there. All right. Let's do one more to wrap it up. Actually, not one more. We're going to do Wind River. All right. This is a really fun one called Wind River. If you haven't seen this movie, it's fantastic. And there's a couple scenes that are really good. I can't find the one I wanted, but yeah, we're going to do this one. I'll fast forward a little bit.
A little torn up.
Right about there. All right, just to give you some context too, this is basically it's a weird situation where you have a reservation where there was a murder. It was a Native American reservation, but there was like federal land. There was a murder. So the FBI, the sheriffs, and these guys you're looking at right here who are security guards for this facility. So it's this weird kind of situation. And these sheriffs and the FBI are meeting with these security to talk about the murder.
Yeah, well, you hit one of these pine branches doing 60, you see what happens to you.
Yeah, we run the property line twice daily. Comes with the territory.
Should try using the face shields.
I requested helmets. Our supervisor said snow soft, ain't it? Corporate's in Texas, so what can I tell you?
Does Matt bunk here on the property?
Yeah, we all do.
Can we see his trailer?
Yeah, sure, come on, I'll walk you up.
What's going on, boss?
I hear about Matt.
Hey, look, more high ground.
So did something happen to him? You know where he is?
That's what we're trying to find out. His girlfriend filed a missing persons report.
Well, how can that be? I thought you guys found her in a snowdrift right before the storm.
Excuse me?
Well, I heard her name go out over the radio when you guys found her.
I don't remember using her name.
Maybe you weren't listening.
The fuck are you doing? What? Why are you flanking me?
What are you talking about?
The fuck do you think I'm talking about? You got us on 3 sides.
Get your hand off that weapon. This is private property.
Don't you put the fucking gun down! Put the fucking gun down right now!
Put it down. Yell it.
Drop your knees right now!
Yell it.
Turn away from me! Drop your knees right now!
Fuck you. It's department.
All right, let's watch that real quick again one more time. Want that one part right here. Watch the guy who notices. Watch his eyes. A little further. So he's the one who initially notices something weird's happening. I want you to watch him as they pan by.
About Matt.
It was old Jeremy Renner with the Overwatch. That's always a good thing. He's definitely doing it Marine style. This is how we would do it, you know, someone out a little bit farther. One more time. I just want you to watch that sheriff's eyes.
I thought you guys found her in a snowdrift right before the storm.
Excuse me?
Well, I heard her name go out over the radio when you guys found her.
They start kind of shuffling around a little bit. And right here, he starts looking around. Where's he looking? He's looking down, hands on pistols and whatnot.
What the fuck are you doing? What?
And look at the guy with a shotgun. So if you didn't know this about the guy with the shotgun, finger straighten off the trigger, you know, he's got in a down position, you know, he's ready to rock and roll. These people are ready to rock and roll. And this sheriff right here, you know, you're meeting other security guards. They're armed. You're armed. It's all good guys here. FBI, everyone's, you know, doing some investigating. So that would be a huge hurdle mentally. If you're a cop, if you're a sheriff, or you're an armed person, that's a huge mental hurdle to try to jump over to go, look, these people that I think are good, that are armed, might try to hurt or kill me right now. But he starts noticing people moving. And I love how they catch his eyes looking down, because I'm wondering if he's probably seeing hands slide off that belt and slide to a pistol grip, whatever it is. All of a sudden, this guy's got, you know, the shotgun in a low ready, finger straighten off the trigger, just like you're trained to do. It's like, this isn't a casual conversation. And this person picks up on that. I'm not going to ruin this for you. You should definitely go watch this movie if you haven't seen it, but it's fantastic. And there's a lot of other scenes in there of situational awareness, but this one was really well done. And I really liked it. All right. No more comments, no more things. We're going to do our final one for the day. This is a really fun one. Just decided to have a little fun with this. And again, we've gone full Hollywood today. No big deal. So let's go here with Captain America.
Operations control. Confirmed. Airstrike personnel on site. Yes, sir. Forensics. Confirmed. Cap. Run low. Now let's wait and see what it is first. Right.
Uh-oh. And look how he's acting goofy anyway. Who acts like that in an elevator?
Administration's level. So far. Excuse me. I'm sorry about what happened with Fury. Messed up what happened to him. Thank you.
Watch this bit. All right, so I love that scene right there because they show the little trickle of sweat. All right, and if you follow my trainings or anything, that's a biometric response to fear or threat. Sometimes you can sweat because you're physically exerting yourself. It's really hot outside. Maybe that elevator is really hot. But again, using the baseline anomaly kind of concept, look at the baseline. Does anybody else look like they're hot in there? Does it look overly hot? It kind of looks like a really fancy, nice building, whatever the Avenger campus. So it's probably air conditioned, and no one else is kind of sweating like that. So those are all things. Just because I see sweat doesn't mean like throw a haymaker at a person, but sweat in conjunction with a carotid artery that's pumping and maybe chest heaving. If you see someone's you might even actually hear the air going in their nose. Okay, what the body is doing at that point, you've kind of lost control mentally, not mentally, but physiologically. Your body knows something's going down. You're about to fight Captain America, so your body knows it's probably about to get its ass kicked. So it starts doing things like over oxygenating the blood and pumping all that stuff up because it's trying to prepare for fight or flight. All right. So I love how they queued up on that thing. And he goes, well, wait a minute. This person's got their hand on the gun. And all of a sudden, we watch what happens next.
Records.
Confirmed.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
And then the fight is on. Okay, so I really like that scene on there. That was a really cool scene just to show that biometric response. So yes, Hollywood does do a lot of goofy stuff. They do a lot of crazy stuff out there, but they can actually do some things that can help entertain. I used to use these videos when I'd train our military and whatnot, so I'd use that stuff all the time. So just some different scenes in movies, just talking about situational awareness. Sometimes they do goofy stuff with like Jason Bourne and like remembering every license plate. Your head would pop off at a certain point, but they're just little bits of it. So I thought that was a good time. Deborah, the name of that movie is Wind River. Wind River with Jeremy Renner. No one really talks about it. It's really a fantastic movie. And Deborah, I'll tell you right now that I have love for it because not only it talks about the behavior analysis, situational awareness side, but also does a little bit of the tracking side too. And you all know I'm a fan of that. But there's so much kind of crossover because there's actually a scene in that movie. I was scouring the internet all morning looking for this one scene in the movie, but I just couldn't find it. All right. But basically what happens is they're looking for suspects or looking for the murder scene. And this is Alaska. It's like snow and mountains. And Jeremy Renner is a hunter. He lives there. He grabs the FBI agent. She's not from there. And he goes, yeah, look, there's the trail that goes all the way up the mountain from a snowmobile they made. And it's like snowing hard. The visibility is really low. And she's like squinting and he's holding her and he's like, yeah, right there. And she's like, look, I don't see anything. What are you talking about? I can't see any trail. and he grabs her by the neck, the arm, and he goes, "You're looking, but you're not seeing. Look." And I love that scene right there. He goes, "You're looking, but you're not seeing," because she's trying to take in everything, the snow, the wind, the mountains, and he's being real specific with the trail that's just a little bit darker than all the other trails around it. So he grabs her and goes, "You're looking, but you're not seeing." That's the name of the game. That's the stuff we do here all day, every day when it comes to situational awareness. So I hope you all enjoyed this portion of the Left of Bang show. Did some movie reviews. If you guys like this stuff, you want me to keep doing different reviews or different scenes, go ahead and drop some comments here on the Facebook, on the YouTube channel, or LinkedIn, because I'll keep doing these because you keep asking for them. So once again, another great Left of Bang episode where we talk about the sneakier side of security. This program, again, is sponsored by the Safe Instructor Program, and it stands for Situational Awareness for Everyone, where we come in and try to increase the survivability and efficiency of everyone around us out here with all this crazy stuff happening. So it's been a pleasure. Deborah, always a pleasure. Everybody, this Hastings Dojo, and Angelo Hudson. Hey, what's up, Angelo? Christine, Tyler, Tim, nice seeing you. Don, Chris, the Arizona Renaissance man. Thanks for coming in, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this, and have yourself a great rest of the week.